I've been raving about the Valve Steam Deck since its launch because, well, what's not to like? PC gaming in your hand, enough performance to run AAA titles on this excellent 7-inch display, and an affordable entry price. But what if you want more? More performance, a higher resolution display with a higher refresh rate, perhaps wider game support? There are some offerings on the market from smaller brands like GPD and Iron Neo, but now another major player has entered the PC handheld arena, ASUS. The new ROG Ally looks like a pretty fantastic step up from the Steam Deck, so let's take a look at what's coming. You could be forgiven for thinking that ASUS has taken direct aim at the Steam Deck with this new product, but it would be wrong to conclude that they just copied Valve's homework and stuck more performance into their handheld. ASUS apparently went through hundreds of different designs to get the most comfortable chassis that they could, and then they went through it with a fine-tooth comb to shave weight wherever possible. The end result is this rather stunning looking handheld that weighs just 608 grams. There's only the white finish available at the moment, which ASUS hailed as being able to hide fingerprints better than a black finish, and I can't imagine what product they were thinking of there. The controls follow the Xbox controller layout, including the asymmetric thumbstick positioning, and I guess this will appeal to the majority of PC gamers, but of course there's no way to please everybody. And if you're feeling upset by the control layout they've chosen, hopefully the smattering of LED lighting will make up for it. Actually, I really like the lighting around the thumbsticks, and overall I'm liking this design of the Ally a lot. Let's talk about the display in the Ally. At an event where ASUS were waxing lyrical about their OLED laptop screens, the display for the Ally is perhaps surprising in that it's not OLED. And inevitably that's going to disappoint some fans, but I don't think it's actually that much of an issue. The display is actually brighter than the one in the Steam Deck at 500 nits, which ASUS reckon is good enough for some outdoor gaming. And better yet, it's a full HD 1080p panel. That's more than double the amount of pixels on offer with the deck. And if that's not enough for you, the ASUS ROG Ally has a 120Hz display in a 7-inch handheld form factor. It's fantastic. The display also has a 1000:1 contrast ratio, sRGB 100% wide color gamut, and a 7 millisecond response time. So naturally, you'll want to keep such a lovely screen safe. And ASUS have protected it with Gorilla Victus glass, which also features an anti-reflective coating. It is good to have strong glass on your handheld. Now, it's no good having a great display like this if you don't have the graphics power to drive it to its full potential, but the Ally has you covered here. ASUS partnered with AMD to create the Ryzen Z1 or Z1 depending on where you are, an APU specifically designed for handheld gaming. It features Zen 4 CPU architecture with 6 cores and 12 threads, and there's RDNA 3 graphics on board with support for AMD's RSR and FSR technologies. ASUS also mentioned a second chip at the press reveal, the Z1 Extreme, which has 8 cores and 16 threads, so we can expect to see multiple configurations of the Ally. Apparently, these chips will deliver enough performance to run AAA games on the 1080p screen at high frame rates, and I'm looking forward to testing that out. But there's also docking ability, so you can run HDMI to a TV and connect Bluetooth controllers. So if the performance is that good, perhaps the Ally could double as a genuine living room console replacement. Being able to kill 2 birds with one Ally-sized stone would certainly make the purchasing decision easier for many prospective buyers. And ASUS also showed how the Ally can be used in a Pro configuration for 4K gaming by means of an eGPU. This appears to connect to the Ally via a proprietary port rather than Thunderbolt, so if you're thinking you can use the eGPU you already have, sadly that won't be the case. With all that performance in such a small device, thermals are going to be a really important consideration. ASUS has designed an interesting gravity-resistant thermal system, which I'm not going to attempt to explain here lest you fall asleep, but the science seemed to check out for me. But what really got my attention is the dual fan design that apparently runs at 20 dB. And that's quiet. Really quiet. Of course, hardware is only ever half the equation. Let's talk about software. The Ally is running Windows 11, and that means that you have full compatibility with Steam, Xbox, Epic, EA, and more. If you can run it on Windows, it should work on the Ally. And this is a key advantage over the Steam Deck, which runs SteamOS by default, a Linux OS with a compatibility layer for Windows. So I'm guessing that more games will work straight out the box with the Ally. Of course, you can install Windows on the Steam Deck, but that requires some work and drivers are still being refined. ASUS is taking a different approach, working with Microsoft to get day one compatibility with the maximum number of games. And they're throwing in 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, so you'll be able to buy the Ally and get started with a huge library of top titles without spending anything on games. Those games can be stored on the internal 512GB PCI 4 SSD, which has a theoretical maximum speed of 4.5 GB per second, but probably much slower in real-world use. But it's nice to have, and like on the Deck, you can expand the storage with the Ally using microSD cards. Key to what makes the Steam Deck such a great system is its low entry price, and the Ally is clearly going to cost more. But in fairness, we need to compare it with the top model of the Steam Deck, because the Ally has the same storage size and it also has an anti-reflective display. Even so, I very much doubt the Ally is going to be competing on price. At time of recording, ASUS hasn't revealed the retail price, though they did say, and I quote, less than $1,000. So we'll be in the queue for a demo unit from ASUS, and as soon as I get my filthy hands on it, then I'll do a more detailed review. Early impressions though from the press teaser event are pretty good, and I'm really excited to try the Ally. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you soon for some more Geekery.